once I'm there and in it, everything unfolds beautifully. And the first idea I have about teaching a class or facilitating a workshop online, I'm very excited and things just move very quickly. Although the in between is where my lovely monkey mind gets stuck in the doing, the performing. This is the conditioning. And this could be from past lives too.
What they're showing me is like in childhood that there's this feeling of like maybe like an impoverished kind of experience, or like I don't know when something is going to come next, like whether it's like a meal or if my parents going to show up for me, or there was just a feeling of like I don't know if I can trust what's there. I'm seeing a life that is like very like Little House on the Prairie. So like a life where it's like so much has to be done in a day just to do the simple things, like churning butter is like an example that they're showing me. And so this idea of like there was a lot to get done, and like you are a woman in this life, and so there's a lot of household stuff to get done, and like things like food won't be on the table if I don't do all this stuff, which was very needed in that time period and in that life. It definitely was about survival. So I think there might be some either beliefs or affirmations they want us to name or say for this. What is the belief that you want to have instead that would be a supportive belief around this pattern for you?
I am abundant. I can show up and shine, just showing up and not having to feel that I have to do or perform.
I'm more than enough. I'm abundant and I can just show up and shine. Just simply being is enough. Hi, I'm Sam Franklin, intuitive, healer, and psychotherapist. In this podcast, you'll hear real life sessions where I open the Akashic Records, connect with angels, offer energy healing, and guide my guests through deep soul transformation. Each session begins by opening the Akashic Records, or the energetic library of the soul, to receive clarity and guidance. Next, I set sacred intentions and invite loving support from the angels, spirit guides, ancestors, and all other spirits who are here for the highest good and you. Throughout these sessions, I explore soul purpose, soul connections, and soul gifts. I also examine the deeper roots of challenges, including past life lessons and how they shape the present, to help my guests reconnect with their truth and step into the life they're meant for. Whether you're here out of curiosity or on your own healing journey, I invite you to listen with an open heart. You might just hear something your soul has been waiting for. Let's dive in. All right. Welcome in, April. Where would you like to start today?
I am open. I am open to see what messages come through, whatever my guides or any angel healing, anything like that, that is brought forward for me today.
Mm-hmm.
I would be open to receive, and any messages, of course, that come through as well. I'm curious, and I really don't have an agenda. It's more about, okay, I'm here with Sam, and let's see what expansion that happens here today.
Yeah. Yeah, I can kind of tune in to see what messages they have. I mean, like just as you're talking, sometimes the angels and guides, they'll bring me to something in my room or in your background. And what they brought attention to is my ring light that's like right in front of me, and kind of in this way that it looks like a halo, like an angelic halo. Um, and so I want to see like what that's about, what message that they want to bring through with that. It feels like it's almost around you. Like there's this like really beautiful kind of angelic, um, divine, but like calming energy, like just like really good energy and um almost like a protection. Like, I don't know how much like or how often you're like connecting in with your guides and angels and like, but it's almost like it feels like there's such a constant kind of connection that they just like the halo is almost there as a representation of like they're always kind of right there behind you. Do you connect with them often?
Yes, through nature. That is the portal.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, and it's beautiful, right? Just being open and seeing literally signs, words that pop in, a song, and just saying thank you. I appreciate you. It's a little God winks, if you will, or just kind of validating, oh, you're on the right path. I see cranes always flying overhead when I'm thinking about something. That also is validation for me as well. So thank you.
Mhm. Yeah, there feels like this I mean, they just keep using the word angelic energy, almost like your soul, and kind of like when you reincarnated in this life, there's some type of kind of angelic connection that like your soul has. And see like why they might be bringing this up, and kind of where they want to go with just naming these things. They're the angels and guides are kind of saying like part of your purpose here, a huge part of your purpose is like giving. They're bringing up like the image of Jesus in this way of like, going around helping people and like really giving to people, people who are in need, people who are vulnerable, people who are oppressed or marginalized. um, and that it feels like it's so easy and it doesn't feel like there's strings attached. It's just like it feels right, and it doesn't feel very draining. Like it's just like the energy that flows through you. It's just like kind of easily helps people, and somehow that kind of reinvigorates you. Is that how it feels?
Hmm. It does. Now, I'm human too, so my mind might be questioning or trying to piece out how are the things, right? How?
Yeah.
And that's when I laugh at myself and say, this is going to be amazing, whatever event I'm doing or hosting or teaching. And then that just leaves, and then it always turns out amazing. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Is there anything that you want to explore around any of those kind of those thoughts that pop in, or maybe it's
Yes.
doubts or
Yes.
limiting beliefs or anything like that?
Hmm.
Uh,
Yes. Um, y- y- Once I'm there and in it, everything unfolds beautifully. And the first idea I have about, let's just say, teaching a class or facilitating a workshop online, I'm very excited, and things just move very quickly about it.
mhm,
Although the in between is where my lovely monkey mind
mhm,
gets stuck in the doing,
mhm,
the performing. I need, this is the conditioning. And
mhm,
this could be from past lives too. Maybe we can look into that as well,
mhm,
because it's very prevalent. And I've done a lot of work or a lot of reflection and sitting with it. And yet, here it comes. So
yeah.
I'm curious about that. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, there just feels like the energy in between events or things that happen is um like a difficulty trusting that like maybe there will be a next thing of like, okay, I've done this stuff, is there going to be another event waiting for me or a client waiting for me? Like there's some of that trust, and then also like I don't know how this is all going to come together, and like but like you name it does, but there's like that doubt that shows up. Is that the stuff that you're talking about?
Yes. Yes. In a nutshell.
Mhm. Yeah, let me just explore. They want to focus on this life first, and then we'll explore past lives, see like where it maybe stems from or what's connected to it. What they're showing me is like in childhood that there's this feeling of like um maybe like an impoverished kind of experience, or like I don't know when something is going to come next, like whether it's like a meal or that my parents going to show up for me, or there was just a feeling of like I don't know if I can trust what's there. Is that true?
Yes, that's very true. Hmm.
Mhm. um and so that's the conditioning that you're kind of working against or working with, if you will. That it's hard to trust because it's almost like that younger part of you is like, well, can we trust? Like, I mean, see all of these experiences where it's like we never knew what was going to happen. And so I had to be thinking like planning ahead or figuring out a plan B or
Yes,
um
exactly.
to protect myself. And so that is what shows up. And so I guess first, do you feel like your situation now feels different than childhood enough that you could tell truthfully to your younger self, like we're not in that space anymore?
Yes. And I've done that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I need to be more adamant about that or find a way to support her
Mm-hmm.
so that way uh, it's that the it's not fear per se, it is that trust and abandonment and I have to do everything on my own. I call it like the little red hen syndrome. You know,
Mm-hmm.
who's going to help me do this? Nobody, right? And then, although I realized about 4 years ago that I never sat down to eat the bread because
Mm-hmm.
of that conditioning.
Mm-hmm.
I would do all the things. The bread was there on the table. If anybody's curious about the Little Red Hen, look it up. It's a children's book. And yet I would, move to the next thing that needed to be done, that I
Mm-hmm.
had it to keep to prove that I have value, that I am basically lovable because it was very conditional love. If you do what I say and you're a good girl, then maybe, I'm not promising, but maybe you'll get an ice cream or, something like that. So, and then it was elusive, right? It was maybe, it was never, oh, here you go, you deserve this.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so even like the elusiveness of like, you do all this stuff and then you could enjoy the reward. That's what makes it hard to enjoy the reward because it's like, well,
Yes,
do I actually deserve that? Is that actually what's going to happen? Because my conditioning is like it's always like it's like a carrot on the stick and it always
exactly.
moves. And so it's hard to sit and enjoy it because it's feels foreign.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And
Mm-hmm.
then the other thing is like when I imagine like sitting down, like enjoying bread or whatever that kind of symbolically represents of enjoying the reward of it, um, it feels like, well, then who is going to keep doing stuff in the background? Like then no one's working on the thing. And so now,
True. It's so true. Yes.
mhm. So it's hard to rest. So what the angels and guides are showing me is like a factory or some type of bigger work environment where like everyone takes a break at the same time and like that could be okay. Like it's not like the factory like shuts down and never starts up again and never like makes anything. It's just for that time period, everyone gets to take a break at the same time, and that's okay. And then we'll get back up and we'll keep working again. So there's just like, yeah, this belief of like someone has to always be working on something. Otherwise, like everything will kind of fall apart or things won't follow through.
Or I feel behind.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't do that task. And then the mind's carrying it into the next day instead of just accepting that that's okay, let it go. And I am getting better at that. I
Mm-hmm.
am.
Yeah, I mean that's a very common issue. I know I struggle with that too. Like, um, so I know a lot of people can probably relate to that. I'm just gonna see how you can keep also working with this to shift it or just, make it so the pattern looks a little bit different.
Hmm.
Mm. So one thing they're just naming is like usually they show it in like a battery, like a phone battery, but they're showing it in like a gas for a car. Like at some point you will run out of gas. Like there's not an infinite amount. Same thing with us. Like we don't have an infinite amount of energy. Think about if you've ever used an electronic device that is on low battery, it moves very slowly. Like it actually like doesn't work as well. And that's kind of like the same idea. Like when we are constantly doing, we don't take time to rest, and like our bodies, like we're actually not as productive. And so if we take the rest, we will probably get so much more done, and that's just like a way to logically think about it. There might be on a deeper level what we can do for it. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Hmm. I like that. That's very helpful
Mm-hmm.
because I can feel it and I'm really tuning into my body now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and understanding when it's signaling me that I need to pause, I need to rest. Uh, the day before yesterday, I even took a nap in the middle of the day. It was just like, I am emotionally drained. Something happened huge. It was a good thing. And then it was like my nervous system was activated. And I had these chills that just kept running up and down in my nervous system. And I thought to myself, I need to pause. I need to reset and just shut down, power down. And I did. And I knew I would feel refreshed afterwards because I always do.
Yeah, that's great that you're able to do that. I mean, what they're showing me is like when a computer's acting up, like you know how people like restart it.
Hmm.
Kind of the same thing. Like sometimes we just gotta like restart ourselves, and that may be like shutting us down.
Hmm.
Because yeah, constantly running is draining.
Yeah. And I think also accepting myself in that situation, accepting that this is safe, this is okay, this is what I need, instead of judging or pushing forward. And that's what I used to do in the past.
Mhm. Yeah. um Especially when we think about not just like our past conditioning and our experiences but also societal conditioning and this like capitalism productivity, like we got to keep going, like our worth is so tied to what we produce, and so rest feels like somehow it's like a fault of ours or like a failure of ours. And so reframing some of that, but also what can be helpful I'm hearing is like check in with your guides. Like take a moment if you're starting to question, like, can I rest right now? Is something going to fall apart? Is it not going to get done? Like go to an intuitive place, because that's when like when you're having those kind of anxious thoughts, that's like the brain, it's doing all the thinking, it's the ego. And so kind of drop down into the body, check in with your intuition, check in with your guides, and ask a question and kind of see what comes through, because that's going to be a more grounded, truthful answer than the answer we're telling ourselves.
Mhm. Yes, and I do breath work, so it's really about tuning into my emotional state, the emotions, and being able to breathe into those spaces,
Mhm.
not making it go away, but sitting with it.
Yeah.
And always I'm shown,
Mhm.
the root, or it's a fragment from in the past that's
Mhm.
coming up that needs to be healed, that needs to be um, just witnessed and accepted.
Yeah. And I'm showing like that in that moment where we can nurture our inner child, right? So when
Mhm.
it's like, oh, something's coming up, what's going on with me?
Yes. Yeah.
Like so that, like you said, that centering, that like going into the body emotionally, what are these emotions telling me? What's the thing that I need right now? Can I give it to myself? As we do that, that's like constantly healing this pattern, because
Mhm.
you're interacting with that younger self differently than how adults, your parents, other people interact with you back then. Yeah.
Yes.
Let me see if there's anything from a past life that could be connected to this. I'm hearing yes. So let me just see where they want to take us. I'm seeing a life that is like very um like Little House on the Prairie. So like a life where it's like so much has to be done in a day just to do the simple things. Like churning butter is like an
Mhm.
example that they're showing me. And so this idea of like there was a lot to get done, and like you are a woman in this life, and so there's a lot of household stuff to get done, and like things like food won't be on the table if I don't do all this stuff. So there really was a real responsibility of like I don't have the opportunity to rest as much until like everything's done, the kids have gone to bed. But even then it's like maybe there are things I need to do to get ready for the next day. And so
Mhm.
because that life, you kind of are carrying this like overly responsibility and this belief system of there isn't actually any time to rest. But we live in a different world than that, where it's like we don't have to churn butter. We can go to the store and buy butter, right? So it doesn't take the same level of preparation.
That's very helpful,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let me
because
see if there's any.
that's exactly how that sensation, or that it's like driving force.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. which was very needed in that time period and in that life. It definitely was about survival. So I'm going to see if there's a way to unmarry, is the word that they're using, that connection, so that we can know that that was a past life and that made so much sense in that time period, but we don't need that quite now. Um, so they're just showing me, are you okay if I
Oh,
unconnect this?
please,
Okay.
please.
So they're showing me like basically two ropes and them being knotted together. And like pretty well knotted, almost like when like a jewelry chain gets caught, like gets knotted, and you're like, oh, it's gonna be hard to take apart. It's kind of like that, but you know, they're encouraging us like they'll be able to untie it. Um, I think there might be some either beliefs or affirmations they want us to name or say for this. See what they want from us to help with this process. What is the belief that you want to have instead? That would be a supportive belief around this pattern for you.
I am more than enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am more than enough. Is there another one? They say like maybe like two or three would be helpful.
Just sit, pause here for a second.
Mm-hmm.
I am abundant.
Mm-hmm.
I can show up and shine, just showing up and not having to feel that I have to do or perform.
Yeah, so I'm more than enough. I'm abundant and I can just show up and shine. Just simply being
Mhm.
is enough. So I want you to focus on those intentions as they take apart this knot. They're going to release these like limiting beliefs from that life. Don't need to be productive to survive. Rest is okay. And then Archangel Zadkiel's coming in with his violet flame. So we're going to transmute these old, outdated belief systems in his violet flame. Just put them in that violet flame that he's holding out. They'll be transmuted into these new beliefs that you want to have, that you can embody, that I'm hearing already live inside you, just want to be brought to the surface more. And now they've been transmuted. And then you take it almost like a ball of energy, and Zadkiel's just handing it over to you and just like slowly putting it into your heart space. And just letting it spread throughout your body that this is your new programming, your new belief systems. I am enough. I'm more than enough. I'm worthy. Rest is okay. I can show up and shine. I am abundant. Okay, so that feels complete. How's that feeling for you?
Mm. Feels very nice. And also another, as you were sharing that, it was like things flow easily.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just easy. I've been saying lately, I want things easy breezy.
Mm-hmm.
Just let it flow in and it's easy. I don't have to work against myself
Mm-hmm.
about it. Yeah. And also I work with Archangel Zadkiel as well. So when you said he was here, I was like, of course, yes.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like that really is like a good shift too, away from that belief system in that life of like things can be easy and they can flow. That is a truth and a possibility in this life.
Mhm.
That feels like the main one from a past life. Is there anything more that you want to explore about this or other things that you want to explore with our time left?
From that particular timeline,
It could
no,
be,
I think
yeah, that past life could be another past life. We could jump to a whole nother topic.
yes, if you don't mind, let's let's jump.
Mm-hmm.
Let's explore. So part of that story, the belief system, what I call BS, um, is stemmed from, my mom. She was disabled, and I grew up with her, and I think that's a key component too of being her in the bed
Mm-hmm.
and really not able to move or do anything. She did when she had to. And so me thinking of, laziness, of not being productive, of maybe as a young child looking at her like, why isn't, mommy helping or doing this with me? Or I see other moms with kids and they're physical and they're running and they're doing all these things. And yet, my mom, because of her own disease, she was shut down. So I'm experiencing some challenges with my left knee.
Mm-hmm.
And so I finally went to the doctor after 9 months of this. And now that we've landed in a space where we're going to be staying.
Mm-hmm.
And I had an emotional release about it because for me, looking at my mother in the bed like that, she was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And she had knee replacements, she had hip replacements, she had her ankles fused, she had shoulder replacements, she had all these things done over and over again when I was growing up. So me going in broken, having this knee challenge,
Mm-hmm.
then it was like it just came over me. I don't want to be like my mother. I don't want to be broken. And it allowed me to witness that fear, that the scared, part of that child, of me, being a seasoned adult now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I know I can make choices. I know that I'm not her. Yet there's still that deep rooted, brokenness of her that I witnessed throughout my whole entire, even in utero, I believe. So if we could unpack that a little bit more, because I know that, emotions are held in the knees too, as I've worked with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm curious of
Mm-hmm.
what support I could receive today for this.
Mm-hmm. There's different things that were like messages that were coming in as you were talking. One of like a main emotion that feels passed down even in utero is shame. You're
Hmm.
thinking about probably how much shame your mom carried because of her illnesses and how her body worked, and the disability and how society would often treats people like that.
And
Um,
my father, how he treated her,
mhm. Yeah,
big time guilt.
yeah.
Yeah.
And how also the guilt, so this is later. So the shame feels like kind of from the beginning of you being kind of connected to her, like in utero. And then later on, there was guilt added, for her of like knowing that she wasn't showing up in a way that she wanted to as a mom. And that just feels like it like globbed on. That's the words that they're using just to you. And that like is not yours. Um, would you be open to like me clearing some of that, like the angels clearing some of that? It just
Yes,
feels like
please.
almost like a film.
Yes.
Yeah, let me see how we want to. Okay, they're showing it like some type of netting or something that like, or a sticky thing that's like around you that like would attract almost like bugs, and like then it gets latched on and gets stuck. So that's kind of like what it's like. So I think how they're going to clean this, like it's kind of all these emotions have gotten stuck from your mom and these experiences, her emotions, what you've taken, like the meaning that you've made from how she showed up or didn't show up. Um, and so basically, they're just going to take this netting off, just have you step out of it. So they're just taking it off now. and like putting it over here, and they're just transmuting it. And then transmuting it into just simply just unconditional love and self-love, and then putting that back into your heart space, reminding you that you were enough as you were then. um, any meaning that you took about like your mom not showing up for you, someone reminded you that you are so loved. You were so loved by her. You were lovable just as you were, and just as you are now. And now they're actually bringing me to, you said left knee, right? I feel like I'm feeling a little ache there. So I'm just going to see what's going on and how they want to work with this, or what messages. It feels like a little bit like trust. So they're showing me like someone who's like limping, like they can't fully trust that leg. They can't fully trust that knee. Like it's going to give out, like when your like legs give out. Um, that's what it feels like. There's something about, can I trust like the steps that I'm taking? The foundation feels maybe a little bit shaky. Can I trust myself? Um, just see what they want to do about this. So they're showing that it feels really inflamed, like energetically. And that's
It
where the
is.
achiness comes from, right? Like kind of inflammation. Is that what's happening in your knee?
Yes.
Mm,
Yes.
yeah. See, like what energetically is inflamed, like why? This feels about anger. Um,
Hmm.
how does that land with you, that there's anger associated with this?
Yeah, it's resentment.
Mm, mhm.
It's resentment. Yeah.
Yeah. See how we can work with this to honor it and release it. So they want you, if you're comfortable, to name out loud. And if you're not comfortable saying out loud, you can say it in your head now, of like, what are the things that you're angry about, that you're resentful about, just to kind of really put them out there, so that we can let go of them. And make sure like you're feeling it as you're naming those things in your mind.
Yeah. Just feeling resentment for not receiving the support, the emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's what it boils down to with everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just resentment about not receiving what I deserved. I
Yeah.
wanted that freaking ice cream, I want, and it sounds funny, but I kind of spin it, right, to make it funny, because then it
Mm-hmm.
takes it away from that resentment feeling.
Mm-hmm. And the hurt too,
Yeah, the
the
hurt,
pain, the
the hurt,
sadness, the grief is what I'm hearing, of like why isn't my mom like the other moms? Like why can't I
mhm.
get this experience?
And the
And feeling
grief
so
of,
disconnect.
yeah, the grief of how my sister treated me.
Mm, mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of like, this doesn't feel fair,
Yeah,
and
it was
it wasn't
not
fair.
at all, at all. It was
Mm-hmm.
almost 6 years younger than her. So anything she did, she would just blame it on me. And I don't know why my parents believed her. I
Mm-hmm.
would get punished, physically
Mm-hmm.
punished.
Yeah,
So it's just that, ugh, the
yeah.
just the grief and the resentment and the why, and why can't people take my word
Mm-hmm.
and hear me? Why can't they hear me and
Yeah.
see me? And yeah, a lot of, yeah, grief and resentment and anger behind that. And I wasn't allowed to express anger. You and I talked about this at another time, but was shamed for being angry, or don't act like that. You're going to upset your mother, or because I said so, or those things. And it was all from my father.
Yeah. There
And
just
so
feels
he,
like I can't do anything Right. Like I try to
Exactly.
be the good girl. I do the things that you tell me to do, but then I'm not rewarded. So like what did I miss? Or I'm not doing anything, but somehow now I've been blamed for something that I didn't even do. Or like
Yes.
I'm having a valid feeling, but somehow now I'm in trouble again. It's just like I can't win.
Yes.
Mhm. That feels hugely part of the anger that I'm feeling in the knee. And like as we're kind of naming it, it feels like the inflammation's like shrinking, is what I'm seeing. But it feels like it's something where like when someone has fibromyalgia or arthritis, where like on certain days it can flare up and
Hmm.
get worse. It feels like this is a longer term thing that it can shrink as you name it and as you be with it, as you honor it, validate it. But if you don't go back to it time and time again, or don't allow yourself to be angry or resentful when it comes up, whether about present day stuff or the past, it will continue to add to the inflammation again. So when you have an emotional flare up, it's really important to be with it and make time and space for that. So then it won't physically, energetically flare up. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And to
Yes.
trust yourself, like
Mm.
that what you feel is valid, that what you have to say is important. So even if you feel like you're not being heard, that it is important what you have to say.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. That feels like, yeah, trusting your steps like forward is what I'm saying. It's about self-trust. When we've been invalidated so much, sometimes we struggle with trusting ourselves. And it can be an ongoing process to validate ourselves and trust ourselves again. Any other things before we wrap up?
Is there any tied to past lives, or is this just in this life with this
Hmm.
trusting and
Well, I would say the anger thing is what came through. That feels like more of like a male presence in a past life, like a really like a man that got angry a lot, like had a really bad temper and kind of felt a lot of shame and guilt, like really regretted that after that life and said like I don't want my anger to be a problem again. So there's almost like a dimming of your ability to be with your anger
okay.
and
So
express it.
in a past life as a male, which I
Mhm.
completely understand that,
Mhm.
and I expressed anger too much and
In
it
harmful
affected.
ways.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like very verbally aggressive, emotionally abusive,
Yeah.
even like physically violent. And so had a lot of regret. And so feels scared of anger in this life. Like
Mm,
it's gonna lead to bad things. That's the belief system. Um, if you would like, I could cut cords with that belief system.
I
Okay.
would
Let's
be
see.
grateful for that for sure. Thank you.
Yeah, let's call in Archangel Michael here to cut cords. And actually, there's many. So, kind of tied to this anger experience, there's a lot of beliefs that have been created. In holding back, dimming down. And so, I'm just going to cut all of them, let them go. That belonged to that life, and we honor that. And that makes sense. We don't need to bring it into this life. Instead, we're going to step into a belief system of anger is okay, anger can be safe. We are worthy to be able to have emotions. It's okay to have emotions. I trust that I can handle anger safely and effectively. It's kind of really also embodying that it's okay to be angry and kind of seeing this like bubble of energy representing those beliefs and just having you step into that energy, kind of infuse those belief systems into you, into this life. And then I'll just keep that bubble up for now, just to seal in any of the energy healing that we've done today. As you kind of your system keeps working through it and processing all the things that we've done, I'll keep that bubble up for now. And is there anything else before we wrap up? Any last questions? I can always check for a last message here too.
Yeah. Let's check for a last message.
Mhm. Trust yourself, believe in yourself. You're so much more powerful and wiser and capable than you allow yourself to believe. And the biggest thing is to continue to love yourself. There feels like a real good bridge that you've created with healing things from the past, and just to continue to honor that bridge and continue to build self love. That feels really important. Yeah. Well, thank you. Appreciate you
Thank you.
trusting me.
And thank you for those who are witnessing me and knowing that, we are the ripple effect. And I hope that this helps support others as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you for being here. If this conversation spoke to your soul, go ahead and like it, share it with someone you love, and subscribe to stay connected to more soul-led journeys. Your truth is sacred, your path matters, and you don't have to walk it alone. Until next time, be gentle with yourself.